Welcome back, everyone. This is GTA Failure. In our last video, we tackled Hot Ring, which is one of 3 stadium events. This video is all about bloodring. First, I'm going to walk over here to my left and point out that there are no fixed spawn vehicles in any of these parking spots. That will change once we pass bloodring. More on that later. Note that the stadium events are only available between 8 p.m. and midnight. Let's head in for our first attempt at bloodring. So we'll read the directions here. Drive through the checkpoints to increase your overall time. Yep, got it. You'll fail if your overall time reaches 0. Fair enough. So the timer is going to be counting down, and we need to get the overall time above the target time in order to win. So the first target time is going to be 60 seconds, 1 minute. So we get a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and then there's like a million NPC vehicles all around. I don't care about them. I just care about that yellow checkpoint. That beautiful semicircle off in the distance. So take a look at my time. It started at 30, it ticked down to 20. Some jerk NPC driver stole my beloved checkpoint, and so the countdown timer continues. But if we head into this marker, leave me alone, fellas. Leave me alone. All right, 11. I don't know. I think we added 15 seconds. Let's see here. Yep, added 15 seconds. Good. And the target time again, you can see is at in the bottom, 1 minute. So I'm just going to fast forward here. I want to show you me failing for running out of time here. And if you run out of time, we get the uninspired message saying that you ran out of time and you failed. Super. In this next clip, I'm going to use a cheat code to give myself some drive-by ammo. There's going to be a lot that happens in a short period of time here. One of the cars that I shoot is going to catch fire from all of my bullets. When that car blows up, I'll be given a $100 bonus. You'll see that message on the screen. Unfortunately, my car is also going to catch fire in the explosion. Then I'll get the wasted message when I blow up. But instead of being transported to the hospital, like every other time I've died in any GTA game, I'm instead plopped right outside the stadium. Confusingly, if you go into the stats after you die in bloodring, you'll see that you have been given another hospital visit for dying, even though you didn't actually visit the hospital. Had no idea that was a thing, to die without going to the hospital. Maybe the programmers put that in because it's not possible to get out of the hot ring racer at any time, so you can't save yourself if your vehicle catches fire. So now I'm going to show my sincere attempt at passing this mission. Note that you can skip the instructions like I did there by pushing the W key. You have passed the mission by getting 60 seconds or more onto the clock. When that happens, on the screen, it's going to display my new best time of 60 seconds, and it will also display the number of cars I destroyed, which will be 0. I don't have any drive-by ammo. I just had it for that one attempt where I used a cheat code, but I didn't save after that attempt. The text in the cars destroyed message is messed up for some reason. I don't know what it says underneath the cars destroyed is weird. Anyway, I'll be given $1,000 and I will have earned the in-game percentage associated with passing bloodring. I'm placed outside the stadium many hours later, even though only about a minute of real time passed while I was in the stadium. And then as you see here, passing this mission results in 2 bloodring bangers spawning just outside the stadium for the rest of the game. One of these bloodring bangers is based on the Glendale, and the other is based on the Oceanic, although the game refers to both of them by the same exact name, bloodring banger. Passing the mission also gives you 60 seconds in the stats menu right here for longest time in bloodring. Now, in all of my 100% playthroughs of Vice City, I have never gone back into the stadium to try bloodring again after passing it at 60 seconds. But this is the true 100% plus series, so I guess I need to go back in. So I saved the game a bunch of times using my Quicksave program. I didn't show that to you here. And to my horror and shock, look at the bottom. It says target time 2 minutes. Also note that my car was just flipped over there. I was on my roof and then I got flipped over. The wiki says that this mission is the only mission, only side mission in the game where your car will be righted after it flips over. And I got to say, look, I'm flipped over again here. I have plenty of health, about half health, and I'm just going to catch fire instantly. Instead of being righted, I just lose all of my health. So I played this this mission many hours for the purposes of recording footage for this video, and most of the time when I flipped over, I got righted, like the game flipped me the right way. But then there were also plenty of times where I didn't. I just sat there on the roof of my car, and my health instantly went to 0. So I can't understand why it flips you over most of the time, but other times it doesn't. I just don't get it. If you have any explanations, any theories as to like when that happens, why it happens, let us know in the comments. Um, okay, so there we go. We just passed the 2 minute version. We got another $1,000. That's pretty sweet. Another update in the stat menu. To be clear, you only need to pass the 1 minute version in order to get the percentage towards your in-game completion. Now, you're going to see me saving the game repeatedly here in just a moment using my quick save program. Look up at the top, it says Dirt Ring, right? And the three stadium missions are supposed to change every night at midnight. And I'm going to look, I just skipped past midnight. It's now 1 a.m. Every time you save the game, 6 hours passes, and it's still Dirt Ring. And I didn't notice it at the time. I just kept saving, waiting for it to get around to Blood Ring again so I could see if there was, God forbid, a 3 minute version of Blood Ring. And it just stayed at Dirt Ring. Now, feel free to, like, I'm going to explain what's happening here. It took me a little while to figure this out, but feel free to pause the video here if you want to think about why Dirt Ring is staying up there despite the fact that many midnights have passed. So pause the video here if you want to think about it. I'm going to reveal the answer momentarily. While I explain the answer, I'm just going to show you highlights and lowlights of all of my attempts at continuing to pass Blood Ring as the target time goes up by 1 minute every time I pass. And so this is going to be every single attempt of mine, every pass and every fail, just a real quick clip of each of those things. You can track my progress by looking at the target time, which will always be at the bottom of the screen. So let's explain what's happening here. In the stadium missions, remember, the doors open at 8 p.m. and they close at midnight. And that's a 4 hour window. But when you save the game, whether you save it legitimately at a safe house or with my quick save program, 6 hours of in-game time passes. And it just so happened that in this particular attempt here, I was saving the game with Dirt Ring as the mission of the day. I would save the game at roughly 7 p.m. in-game time. Saving the game, so of course the doors weren't open yet because it was before 8 p.m. And saving the game advanced the time 6 hours to go from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. And 1 a.m. is after midnight, which is when the Dirt Ring doors would have closed had they ever had a chance to open. But they didn't have a chance to open because I skipped past the entire 4 hour window when Dirt Ring would normally be open. And so it turns out that just passing midnight isn't the trigger for changing the stadium event to the next one, the next stadium event. It turns out the trigger is passing midnight and the doors were open at some point during gameplay. And this actually lays to rest like a mystery, something that I didn't understand when I first started playing Vice City back in 2013. I used a walkthrough from GameFAQs.com to guide me through 100% completion of the game. And so I passed two of the stadium events and I was ready to do the final one. And the walkthrough said, hey, just repeatedly save the game at the nearby Hyman safe house to advance the game 6 hours and then go out to the billboard on the street nearby and see if the stadium mission that you want, the one remaining one, is the one that is coming up that evening. Gang, I must have saved the game 20 times, probably more than that, at that Hyman safe house. But no matter what I did, I couldn't get the last of the three stadium missions to show up on the billboard. It just kept staying as the same exact mission every time. It was so frustrating, and I couldn't understand how to get it to cycle, despite the fact that a number of midnights passed while I repeatedly saved. So now, 10 years later, I finally understand what happened. It must have been that just by coincidence, I was saving the game sometime between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. on the in game clock, which skipped the entire 4 hour window for when the doors would normally be open. And then after midnight happens and the doors never opened, so the mission never changed. Mystery solved. So now I'm showing you my best attempt at a 6 minute pass. I'm playing most of this in quadruple speed. I'll play it at regular speed soon enough. I'm going to read you a quote from grandtheftwiki.com/bloodring. It says, for each time the player passes the side mission, an additional minute is added to the required amount of time for victory, finally peaking at a 6 minute goal. There's an IGN article that I saw that said exactly the same thing. So before I recorded a moment of footage for this video, I assumed that I would have to pass 6 minutes and then I would have done my due diligence and I would have been a good little true 100% plus GTA failure for Blood Ring. So here's my attempt at at doing the 6 minute timer, and I really thought once I passed this 6 minute goal, I would be done recording footage for this episode. There was another reason that I thought 6 minutes was my ultimate goal for this video, and it has to do with San Andreas. So San Andreas has a mission that is almost identical to Blood Ring. In San Andreas, it's called Blood Bowl. It's actually in a copy, a legitimate copy of Hyman Memorial Stadium, just with the billboards changed over in San Andreas. And I mentioned that in the very first video of this series, that the idea that I had for doing a true 100% plus playthrough of Vice City and also GTA 3 came from the British speedrunner Joshimus. He runs a lot of GTA games, and he did a similar series for San Andreas, and I loved it. I thought it was just endlessly entertaining. It's linked below, the whole playlist for his series if you want to check it out. And the very second video in that series was about, among other things, Blood Bowl, the San Andreas version of Blood Ring. And in Josh's attempt, he said that the maximum level was 6 minutes. Like you win, you complete Blood Bowl if you can pass at 6 minutes. Now there are a number of reasons why Blood Bowl is harder than Blood Ring. Honestly, Blood Ring is not that bad compared to the San Andreas equivalent, but like I said, for a number of reasons, I had in my head 6 minutes and then I win. Speaking of Joshimus, I have linked that specific video, the second video in the series, below as well, in addition to his whole playlist, if you want to check it out. He delivers an epic rant about how infuriating it was to try to do Blood Bowl given all of the programming choices that the Rockstar programmers decided on. And like I said, I just found it so hilarious, endlessly entertaining. Sorry, Josh, if you ever watch this video. Sorry that I took so much joy out of your frustration and pain, but it was just, like I said, an epic rant. Go check it out. It's linked below. And just like that, I'm a winner. $1,000, 360 seconds, 31 cars destroyed, new record. 6 minutes. Shake the camera because I'm real happy. That took a lot of attempts. Long time to pass that thing. And then I made a decision that cost me some sleep last night and will probably haunt me for the rest of my days. I just went back in. Surely it's going to stay at 6 minutes. That's what the internet says. And you can see I'm not even hitting the gas because I am so appalled at that 7 minute number down there. And I'm trying to like decide here on the spur of the moment. Am I really doing more blood ring here? I passed, right? I won. I got 6 minutes. Everybody said it's just 6 minutes. And then, of course, this guy steals my checkpoint. That's a great beginning to this one. Gonna run out of time before grabbing a single checkpoint. Holy cow. So yeah, I don't know why folks think that 6 minutes is it. It ain't. The game continues, and I didn't even get a single checkpoint. That was the universe telling me stop doing Blood Ring. So did I listen to the universe? Absolutely not. I just reloaded my save state and tried Blood Ring again. So I'm going to show you all of my fails and all of my passes, but the clips will be much shorter this time. You don't need to see them in as much detail as before. Almost every one of my fails was from my car blowing up, usually because I was near an explosion of another NPC. In this case, check out how all the other drivers get away from me. This is the only time they ever leave me alone, is when they see that I'm on fire and they want nothing more to do with me. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate the support. So here's another fail, again from getting blown up by being too close to an NPC explosion. Now, this clip is longer than the previous clips, and I'm already at 6:47 out of the 7 minutes. Oh, I'm so close to that one, but now I'm under. I need two more. I just need one more. Everybody leave me alone. This is it. 7 minutes done. Outstanding. 4:20, new best time. Now, I was sorely tempted to just call it done there. But the fact that this video is like another 16 minutes long tells you that I did not by a long shot. So here are some 8 minute attempts and fails, but there would have been something quite poetic, I think, about leaving that 420 as the number of seconds as my best attempt at this in the stats menu. I mentioned in one of my package videos that 69 is the favorite number of Rockstar programmers. Probably 420 is their second favorite number. But I didn't stop. I was never a big fan of poetry. Here, I was just on my back for a long time. Like the game is supposed to flip you over, like I mentioned, but it's not. It's just letting me sit here. My health is nearly full. It's not going to flip me, not going to flip me, and at some point, there you go. Health just goes down to zero. Oh, thanks for flipping me now. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know why it flips most of the time, but not at all other times. I was like a turtle on my back there. Okay, more 8 minute timer, 8 minute target time fails. So like I said, mostly, yeah, it flipped me after I was on fire. That doesn't help me. So mostly fails from being too close to an exploding NPC vehicle, but occasionally I would fail because I just flipped over, and eventually the game decided to just light me on fire instead of righting my car. Okay, 8 minute success. We just need one more. Where is it? It's to the right. Let's go. Taking the long way around. Plenty of time. Just don't flip the car. GTA failure. Boom. 8 minutes. Easy. Okay, up next, some 9 minute fails. And now these clips are going to be a lot shorter. Rapid fire fails. Like I've got failure in my YouTube name. That isn't just like a cutesy name. That is my promise to you. You come here, I will deliver on GTA failing. So lots of explosions, even as I can see all the explosions coming in the timeline of the editing software, it's still painful to watch. A lot of my cars are numbered 69, also 27, also 73. There's another 69, 73, which was the name of Herbie, like a fictitious race car in a series of movies. I think it was Disney movies. Um, yeah, so some cute nods to some famous numbers there. But now I'm number one, and number one means I gotta pass this thing, right? Like I'm the best at number one. Okay, can I grab this one? Let's do it. Just barely. Holy man. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, why stop at nine when you can turn it up to 10? So, flip the camera because I'm real happy. And now here are some 10-minute fails. Again, rapid fire compilations. Oi, 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 upside down, on fire, the story of my life, kaboom, ouch. I hope uh, I hope Tommy is insured. This is like a lot of vehicle damage. He's gonna just be buried in auto insurance claims paperwork for like months. My goodness. Okay, gang. This is me loading my save state for the very last time and starting bloodring for the very last time in this video, I promise. So here is my final attempt at 10 minutes. It is in its entirety. It is not sped up. It is not fast forwarded. You are going to see all of the gory bloodring action. Here we go. I got the very first checkpoint stolen from me by an NPC, not off to an auspicious beginning. But while we watch my full playthrough here, my best attempt at 10 minutes, at my last attempt at 10 minutes, pass or fail, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I learned in recording footage, in playing Blood Ring potentially more than just about anybody else on the planet has ever played Blood Ring. For the purposes of making this video, I recorded footage of Blood Ring for a whopping 5.5 hours. 5.5 hours. And that actually underestimates how long I played Blood Ring because when I saw there was a level 7 minute version, I didn't record my first bunch of attempts at passing it since I hadn't yet internally committed to actually doing more than 6 rounds of this side mission. So I was just playing the level 7 just to see what happens, and I failed a bunch and spent a lot of time not recording before I started recording level 7 just to see if I could go beyond level 7 and 8 and 9, and here we are at 10. Let's call it 6 hours of playing Blood Ring as a conservative guess. So this isn't going to be some long rant like the one that Josh gave in his San Andreas video, because although there were plenty of frustrating moments in my 6+ hours of doing Blood Ring, I actually enjoyed myself most of the time I was recording footage for this video. So first, let's talk about my vehicle. The Bloodring Banger has a decent enough top speed, but its acceleration and its handling on this dirt track are both laughably bad. There are going to be times in this final 10-minute attempt where I'm in the middle of a pack of NPC cars, and you'll see a gap in front of me, and you'll wonder why I'm not jamming on the W key to escape the pile and get through that gap. The thing is, I probably was jamming on the W key, but the banger accelerates so slowly on dirt that the gap often closed before I was able to escape the pile. I mentioned that the handling is ridiculously bad, so imagine driving a real life car on an ice hockey rink. And now imagine that your tires, instead of being made of rubber, are also made of ice. That's what it's like trying to turn the banger. If you turn fast, you slide all over the place. If you turn too fast while going fast, you can easily spin out or roll your car, both of which will get your car back to a dead stop. You'll lose all or nearly all of your velocity if you lose control of your vehicle. And that's a real problem because of the super weak acceleration I already mentioned. It's hard to overstate how slippery the controls are in the Blood Ring Banger. If you've never done bloodring here in Vice City, or if you've done it but it's been a few years, I encourage you to try it again if you own Vice City. No matter what words I use to describe the acceleration and handling of the banger, you really have to experience it for yourself to understand it. So, if a vehicle blows up in this game, one of the NPC vehicles blows up, it spawns from one of the three garages in the white building off to the side, and then the blown up vehicle disappears pretty quickly. Only one of these other NPC vehicles is actually trying to get the checkpoints. And honestly, they don't try very hard. It was quite rare for an NPC to get any of the checkpoints. In fact, on the rare occasions when that did happen, I actually got like annoyed. I was, like I was possessive. I was, how dare somebody else take my yellow checkpoint from me? The rest of the NPC vehicles are targeting me, not the checkpoints. All they want to do is clip my vehicle or get in my way. If one of these NPC vehicles happens to pass through a checkpoint, the checkpoint doesn't even get collected, it just stays there. The only NPC that can actually make a checkpoint disappear is that one NPC that's going for the checkpoints instead of going for me. I mentioned that the NPC chasing vehicles are just trying to get in my way, and that was an important thing that I learned. They're not trying to prevent me from getting the checkpoints, they're just trying to prevent me from going in the direction my car is pointed. And so I use that knowledge to my benefit sometimes. You'll see me going backwards at times, sometimes for like a long way when it's clearly faster to go forwards. But the cars are all trying to get me to not go forward. And so sometimes behind me is the only free path that I have. So right here, I'm going backwards just because that was the only way to get out. And I'm still going backwards. I'll probably get clipped here. But anyway, this was the only way that I felt like I could make progress a lot of the time, was to just go backwards, even if that backwards trip was a far one. And sometimes if I got things lined up, then the chasing cars would be in front of me and I'd be going backwards and they would bump me directly in my hood, my front fender, and then I would have more backwards velocity in the direction I was trying to go. So that was helpful. So the most important thing that I learned about doing well in Bloodring is to avoid contact with the NPC cars. If one of them clips you even the tiniest bit, that can send you into an uncontrolled spin. And by the time you regain control and try accelerating away, many of the NPCs that have been chasing you are often like right on top of you, happily bashing their car into yours repeatedly. The worst is when you get stuck in the middle of a pile of NPC cars, unless a gap opens up either directly in front of your car or directly behind your car so you could reverse through it. It can just be impossible to get out of the pile. The banger has so little acceleration, so little power on the dirt, that you usually can't just muscle through the cars that are blocking your path like you could with a more powerful vehicle or a heavier vehicle. Even more problematic about getting stuck in a cluster of NPC cars is that if one of them is on fire, it can be difficult or impossible to get away before they explode. And if you're too close to them when they explode, then you catch fire and it's mission fail. Even without getting hit by an NPC vehicle, it's possible to lose control of your vehicle on your own just because you turned too fast and then you spun out or you rolled. Or maybe you go up onto the large dirt mound in the center of the ring at too steep of an angle and you flip your car or you roll your car as a result. So, the main strat is to avoid contact with any NPC vehicles as much as possible. Since most of them are pursuing you at full speed, the only way to stay in front of them is to keep your speed up as well. So I often found myself doing what you see me doing right now, which is just driving around the track either clockwise or counterclockwise up on this banked surface. There I got clipped and all of a sudden I have no momentum, not moving at all. And now I'm harassed. So just keep driving all the way around the track. Even if the checkpoint, even if that's not the shortest distance to the next checkpoint, just keeping my velocity and not getting clipped by any of these vehicles was often the main goal. Oh, look at that, split the uprights. That was nice. So if a checkpoint spawns in the middle area, I would sometimes kind of like go around the middle raised area until I had like a really nice angle at it, not too steep of an angle. So I was really not aggressive in my lines, oftentimes going towards the next checkpoint. If the checkpoint spawns right behind me, sometimes I would go all the way around the track and grab it instead of trying to make a U-turn or backing up, like stopping, going forward and backing up to try to collect that checkpoint right behind me. Because in both of those cases, usually I would get clobbered by the trailing NPCs well before I got the checkpoint that I was after. If a checkpoint is right behind you and you drive all the way around the track at roughly full speed, it'd take you about 12 seconds to make one loop around the track. And remember, the checkpoints add 15 seconds to your countdown timer. And so you only net 3 seconds if you have to drive 12 to gain 15, which isn't a lot, and it would take an awful lot of checkpoints to get up to like 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 10 minutes if you're only netting 3 seconds per checkpoint. So the goal is obviously more than 3 seconds per checkpoint, but the real goal is to avoid interacting with the other NPC vehicles. Just maintain control, maintain your velocity, even if you aren't taking the shortest distance path to the next checkpoint. Speaking of avoiding NPC explosions, if there was a car on fire, I would make it my top priority to get away from them, even if that took me away from the next checkpoint. Better to lose a bit of time than to chance being too close to an exploding car. When an NPC vehicle has high health, it drives with a lot of purpose and aggression. If it blows up, then it despawns and is replaced by a new car. I mentioned in that white building, you can see it off in the distance there from one of those 3 garages. But it sure seems like there's an in-between state for NPC vehicles, between high health and exploded. I think that if a car gets low on health, it drives much more sluggishly and sometimes will just sit still for a long time. The more cars that are disabled in this way, the easier it is for me, but I obviously can't control, whether or not cars get disabled in that way. In playing bloodring for 6+ hours, I definitely got better at it. I started to get an intuitive feel for how the chaos of the nearby NPCs would likely unfold. I found myself anticipating unavoidable collisions and taking preemptive action to improve my chances of keeping my line, keeping control of my vehicle after the collision. For example, if I was going straight for the next checkpoint and I could tell I was about to get clipped on the rear driver's side, I would quickly calculate that if the rear of my car slides to the right from the impact, then my new straight line path will be left of what I had been aiming for before the collision. So I would steer to the right just before the collision, aiming to the right of the checkpoint that I was going for, and I would hope that after the collision points me to the left, I could recover my vehicle and be close to the original straight line path to the next checkpoint. And I said that I would quickly do that calculation, but that's not really accurate. This is going to sound like I'm making things up, but I really started to get an instinctual feel for kind of how to drive well in this game. I didn't really calculate it. I just kind of drove by feel at some point. It was weird. It was a weird feeling to sort of be like in this kind of zen state, like sort of in the zone with this like silly mini game that I thought I was going to spend half an hour playing. Sometimes I would see a pile up in front of me, and I would intentionally swerve around it at the last second in order to get some of the chasing vehicles to smack into the pile up and therefore not be right on my tail. Sometimes I would see an inevitable sideswipe coming from my left, for example, and I would quickly put myself just next to a car on my right so that I would get sandwiched in between the 2 cars and stay roughly pointing in my original direction of travel instead of getting spun out. There were lots of other subtle decisions I made in my effort to maintain control of my vehicle as much as possible. It was pretty gratifying to see the clear improvement in my skill at this game. So now let's talk about some of the differences between bloodring here in Vice City and the corresponding Blood Bowl in San Andreas. San Andreas has health pickups that randomly spawn and replenish the health of your car. There are no such health pickups in Vice City. However, the health of your car in Vice City very slowly replenishes over time. This is hard to see with the naked eye because the health refills are really tiny. But if you go to just a couple minutes ago, like the 26-minute mark in this video, you'll see that my car's health is at about 50%, maybe just a hair over 50%. Then come right back here to the 28-minute mark. And, like right now, you can see my health is maybe at 3/4 full, like 75% full. I think that the health increases happen when you pick up each checkpoint as opposed to just happening because time is passing in the game. Honestly, my car having a health bar hardly made any difference in my fails. I almost always failed because my car caught fire from being too close to an explosion. I rarely failed because the health of my car went to 0 from too many collisions. In Vice City, it seems like there's only one NPC vehicle going after the checkpoints, and often none going after the checkpoints. But in San Andreas, there are 2 NPC vehicles that go after the checkpoints. Additionally, all the vehicles in Vice City are the same as my vehicle, all those NPC cars. But in San Andreas, the NPC vehicles are randomized, which means that sometimes one or both of the NPCs going after checkpoints in San Andreas are in vehicles that are faster than yours. And so that makes collecting checkpoints in San Andreas much, much harder than here in Vice City. If there are other differences I didn't mention, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm sure there's other stuff that I'm not thinking of. I haven't played San Andreas in like 10 years. I don't know how the game determines. Oh, we're so close, gang. 9:53. Let's do it. I don't know how the game determines when to give me that $100 for being responsible for blowing up an NPC car. I have no drive-by ammo. Maybe if an NPC car blows up within a short period of time of me damaging it by running into it. I don't know. It's just a guess. Come on, come on. Boom. That horn is the greatest sound in all of Vice City. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. 10 minutes, 600. I'm done. Don't ask for 11 minutes. I'm done. Shaking the camera. We are officially finished with bloodring. Okay, so I'm rating all the missions, and I'm going to surprise you here because even though, like I said, there were a lot of frustrating times playing bloodring for 6+ hours, I'm going to give this a 10. I really enjoyed it. Like it was a lot of fun learning about the NPC behavior and kind of figuring out the subtleties of like how to drive better and give yourself more chances for success in this thing. I thought I was going to quit after 6 minutes because I thought that was like the official end of Bloodring. I decided to push through and do 7, 8, 9, and then there you go. 10 minutes of bloodring. What else could you ask for? Yeah, 10 out of 10. A lot of fun. Okay, so here we're just saving to prepare for the next video, which is going to be Dirt Ring. So we just want to get the time between 8 p.m. and midnight in preparation for the upcoming video. If you have any memories you'd like to share about Blood Ring, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you real soon.